What's up? Welcome back to my channel, the best place for hardworking millennials to bring positive change to their careers. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to find your career path in your 20s, even if you have limited experience. So make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell to receive regular updates on all things related to career change. Also, join my Facebook group called Career Change Advice, where you can chat with like-minded people who are interested in making their careers work for them and not the other way around. Hi, I'm Dr. John Tam, and I'm passionate about helping people bring positive change in their careers. In my last video, I talked about how to find your career passion in your 20s, so definitely check it out if you haven't done so already, because you'll need to know what your passion is in order to know which areas to build your experience in. In that video, I concluded that it's super important to set a target, and after that, you simply have to close the skills gap. So that's definitely something you need to do, and check out if you haven't done so already. So without further ado, here's how you find your career path with limited experience. Step number one, you need to create an avatar target. And an avatar target is essentially what is the ideal target job that you're going for. And in that case, you gotta flesh it out, right? What industry are you talking about? What role or department? What's the function? What's the level that you want to enter at? What's the geography? What's the pay grade? What are the problems that you're going to solve? What skills are you going to utilize to solve it? These are all aspects that you need to consider. And of course, the most important one is the last one. What are the skills that you're going to utilize? Because that's what's going to get you hired into that job to really launch that career, right? So at the end of the day, companies hire on the what, the how, and the why. The what are the skills? What are the skills that you have? And that includes hard skills and soft skills. The how do you fit? And that's mostly soft skills because it's mostly people skills and your self-management and the culture. The third thing is your why, and that's the alignment with the mission and the vision of the company. And if you watched my last video, you'll know that these are all aspects that you can align with, and you need to find the best fit possible for you. Now, big companies typically want you to have the what down because companies want you to do the labor, right? Whether it's intellectual or physical labor, they want you to do that because that's the execution of the tactics. The higher you get in the corporate ladder, the more soft skills and strategy that you're dealing with. The lower you are, what you're dealing with is mostly tactics, right? Or implementation. And so in order to launch a career somewhere, you really need to have the hard skills down. And as you rise through the ranks, the soft skills become even more important. Now, this is for big companies. If you're looking to join a medium or small size company, then their requirements will be slightly different. They may care more about the how you fit, and the why, the mission alignment, more than the what. If you are missing some of the boxes for the skills that you have, they may be a little bit more graceful about it because it's a small company and you can learn as you go. Now, if you're going for startups, those generally have a high demand for skills because they are trying to drive the product to market and they don't really have time to cover for people's incompetence. So essentially, every company size at every geography and every industry is different, and you really need to sort out what that target is. Ultimately, it depends on the industry and for you to close that skills gap to enter that industry. Step number two is to identify the job skills. And once you've set your target, you can search the internet for job postings for your target avatar. For example, if you're looking at a UX designer job for Naughty Dogs, which is the company that made the Uncharted series and The Last of Us. I really love The Last of Us, by the way, so that's why I'm talking about them. Then you also want to look at similar jobs for other gaming companies. After you find these job descriptions, you want to identify which skills are the mandatory ones and which skills are the preferable ones, the nice to haves. And you do that by doing a keyword search. And you basically go into that job description at the target level, at the target company, at the target everything, and you sort it out. And you look at the words must, minimum, strong, need to have, should have, experienced in, anything that suggests for you to have mastery in. And those are the mandatory things that you need to have. And if it's experience, if they require you to have 5 years experience, then you know exactly what you need to do to close that gap in terms of experience. There are also the preferables, and what the preferables are the nice to haves, and those are also listed out in the job description, but they're not prefaced with words like must, mandatory, should have, need to have, and so on. So you need to sort out what are the mandatory and what are the preferable skills, and then work towards building and closing that skills gap. There's also a difference in terms of the hard skills and soft skills, and I have hard skills and soft skills comparison video, which I'll put in the cards above, and definitely check it out. I also have the ultimate soft skills playlist, which is a lot longer, and you can definitely check that out as well. Now, a major part of hard skills and soft skills in terms of what you're inclined to like to partake in is personality. And I have a free personality test also in the links below. I know I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you, but I just want to give you as many resources as possible so that you can succeed in your job search. Now, what are some of the key job skills that you have right now? And is it really far off from your target? Let me know in the comments below. Now, a third thing you need to do is to close the skills gap. And you can probably see this coming like a slow moving truck, because now that we've set a target, you also have an awareness of what you have from the previous video. Essentially, you need to close that gap, because that's what's gonna get you into your target job. And so what that means is you need to do the research, whatever research necessary to do that. And so it could mean building a portfolio through volunteer work, through freelancing, or through side hustles, right? And websites like Fiverr or Upwork are great resources for that. I have a client who realized that he wanted to enter into the world of video editing, and he's right now building his Fiverr portfolio to do Adobe Premiere Pro editing for other people, so that when the time comes, he has the chops and he's like, hey, I've worked on these real life projects before. And there's a real value in doing real life projects, because the fact is that if you are doing just a side project for schoolwork, for example, and I've done a lot of music writing for back, when I was taking my undergrad, the parameters are wide open, and you're not dealing with clients who have actual problems, who have actual infrastructure and integration issues. So for example, of a client working situation where you need to design something for your clients, but then they have a certain color code for their brand, and they have a certain font for their brand, and they have certain sizes that they need to cut their physical material to. These are actual real parameters that you need to work with. And by doing that, you actually have to do a lot of troubleshooting, and that's a major difference from going and taking a course online where basically it's a hypothetical situation where you create a hypothetical product. By doing side hustles, freelancing, or even volunteering, you create actual products and actual things that can join your portfolio, while also building the references along the way and getting feedback on how you can improve, or what are some things that you can work on in the future. And these are super important. So, and people ask me whether a master's degree is necessary, and I tell them it really depends on what you want to do. Sometimes a master's can make you overqualified, and sometimes a master's doesn't really equip you with the skills because it's not real world problems. And sometimes it's totally necessary because it's a certification that gets you a license to practice. So it really depends. And I have a video which I've made in the past talking about this topic, and definitely check it out if you are considering getting a master's degree. But bottom line is, it depends on what you want to do. I've talked to many hiring managers before, and actually many of them prefer a portfolio over a degree, because a portfolio actually shows what you can do and whether you can actually implement and hit the ground running. If you actually go back to school or go get certain qualifications or licenses that you actually don't need, it's actually a waste of time and money, which would have actually been much better if you invested it in the real world, doing a side hustle, freelancing, and actually building that portfolio. So step 4 is to continue building on that portfolio with references and your network. And like I said, building that portfolio is super important because you show the results, right? But actually getting the references to give you those testimonials, to record the results, and it's best if it's quantifiable. So for example, if you create something that generated a click-through rate, which is the amount of clicking that people do. If you make an awesome YouTube thumbnail, for example, and you increase the person's click-through rate from a bad click-through rate would be like a 1% click-through rate, and awesome one would be like a 10%. If you increase their click-through rate from 1% to 10% because you're able to design awesome thumbnails, you actually increase the traffic for that person's YouTube channel, and that's an awesome thing. And by being able to tell future employers that you're able to increase someone's click-through rate from 1% to 10% and it's quantifiable, is awesome. That person will probably also be willing to give you a reference, and it also shows that, hey, you know exactly what you're doing. So that's a great way to start building references and growing your network. Also, network your way into your target company. Send LinkedIn invites to your target company, employees in there, to connect, ask for an informational interview, grab a coffee, hop on a Zoom call, and get involved in the professional conversations that they're involved in. So if you're on LinkedIn, one of the things about LinkedIn is it's amazing because anything that a person likes, you get to see. So for example, if you're interested at working at Naughty Dogs and you connected with someone at Naughty Dogs and they liked a certain conversation that's related to the industry, you get to hop on as well and partake in the chat. And by partaking in the chat, other people can see your comment and engage with it, and then you can also connect with them and then send them an invite and say, hey, I'm interested in learning more about this industry. Can you tell me more about it? Can you tell me more about your company? And that is actually the beginning process of networking your way into a job. And trust me, when it comes to the point where you need to submit your resume to their hiring manager and they see that you have like 5 to 10 connections within the company and you've talked to all of them, chances are that they're gonna like you a lot more than the other candidates, because believe me, everyone checks your social profile nowadays, and LinkedIn is no longer optional, it's a must. So if you're in your 20s and you're trying to close that skills gap and have that experience and build it up, you definitely need to hop on the LinkedIn Gravy Train. In the future, I'll be releasing videos on informational interviews and all the other networking tactics as well. And so be sure to click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you get an update when those videos come out. In this video, I covered how to close a skills gap, how to build experience, and so on. But at the end of the day, finding your career path involves a lot more moving parts. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to grab the free guide that I have in the description below, and also the free personality test that works very well with the guide, because this will help you advance into your next step in knowing what career works for you. In addition, in previous videos, I have covered many things about finding your career and having a career change. So definitely check out the playlist that I'll put in the cards above. Make sure you join my Facebook group, Career Change Advice, to join a community of people who are interested in making their careers work for them. And in my next video, I'm gonna talk about the secrets on how to gain career clarity. So make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell for updates for when it comes out. Also, leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to give it a like and share it with your network if you found this video to be valuable. Take care.